long-lasting, strong composition. And then we got to wait and see. Creed, yeah, so Creed, I think we're expecting Ret Warrior, with Mystic being on Reload Esports roster. That's why they went with the Fire Ellie Mage. I feel like we've critiqued Creed on not running Fire Mage Ellie enough. So this time around, I think preparing it for the circuit, or for after the circuit into the finals, is a really good plan on their part.
All right, let's see what they can do, what these teams bring to the table. Second and third place actually on the line for these two teams.
All right, let's see it. Creed right now, lucky in their Elemental Shaman, Fire Mage. We've seen them run this in the past, and it has looked good. Let's see, they're going to be going after Mercy right away, but Saza, unfortunately, not able to really find too much damage. Intimidating Shout coming in for Mercy. Going to be shutting that down completely. And it just, I mean, Reload Esports, this is a team that has prepared quite a bit. Mercy actually posted something really interesting on Twitter. It was like a picture that they made with tons of different points about exactly how they wanted to tunnel down a Warlock on Empyrean domain. It was really interesting. I've never, like, honestly, I haven't seen that level of preparation in quite some time. So Reload Esports definitely a serious contender here. They kind of study their opponents and look to find those weaknesses. You can bet that this is a matchup that they've been prepared for. And I think this is just the nature of this matchup is going to be one where Creed is likely going to be looking for one-shots, and Reload Esports, they just have to hold on, deny the one-shots as long as possible. They can win on mana, and when dampening's high enough, they can win just on overall consistent pressure as well.
Yeah, it's going to be a story about purging Saza and having uptime on Saza for Mercy and Belay. Just trying to shut him down, trying to use that grounding totem from Lontar, those wind shears, just anything they can to disrupt Saza and to stay on target. And of course for Creed, it's just going to be about setting up these one-shots. They haven't really gotten a good setup yet. That first combustion was kind of botched there for Saza, so he's going to have his second one ready here just about now actually. And let's see, who does he want to go for? They got the Skyfeeder totem here. Going from Mercy right now. It's going to be Baka with the damage right now. Saza just holding on to his damage, holding on his damage for now. And now he's actually going to pop the combustion there. You get silenced on it by Delay. Nice shutdown as well with those dispels right there. And once again, now it's going to be all about kiting Dragon Mercy away from Lontar, trying to reset that combustion, trying to Nova and sheet Mercy behind pillars, and now crossing the map once again back to his own side of the map here. Nice thunderstorm there from Baka as well on the charge of Mercy there, allowing Saza to get a lot of distance there. And now here comes Stormkeeper, big damage potential here with the Sky Fury as well. There's the zaps, but doesn't look like he's getting any procs or crits. No Baka here, unfortunately, not going to be able to get that counter pressure going, and instead it's going to be Saza here, falling ever slightly behind there. Drainer did trinket and trade out his wings in that exchange as well.
All right, even mana at this point. It's anyone's game. This is one that's likely to go pretty deep into dampening, as all the classes are highly durable and mana efficient here. Saza's just pulling Mercy side to side on this map, dragging him out behind the pillar here. Lontar's trying to catch up, and then he's going to reposition maybe and go across the opposite side of the map. This is what I'm waiting to see. Baka is just free casting lava bursts in the midfield, maximizing his damage. And it does seem like their ultimate win condition is going to be on mana, with Lontar slightly behind. Knockback on Mercy on that heroic leap. Looked kind of interesting. Valet gets a grip on the Mercy to pull him right back over to Saza. Saza gets charged, but Mercy is getting blasted down, caught in a lightning lasso. Nice crowd control by Baka here in this setup. That's going to land them a trinket and a Spirit Link totem. If Baka keeps playing interference here every time Saza runs out into the midfield, I'm starting to get worried for Reload Esports.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, the damage potential from Creed is absolutely massive in this matchup with this composition. Polymorph now on Valet, as we're seeing Saza just trying to get control of the matchup and hold on until that combustion is up once again. So just all about that one-hit wonder for Creed. Can they get that one shot? Hex now onto Lontar. Baka trying to set up his team, but Saza kind of isolated. Beautiful, intimidating shout coming in there by Mercy. Just trying to get the pressure rolling, trying to train down Saza. And the more uptime he can have on Saza in this match, the more fireballs that he can interrupt, the harder it is for Saza to actually get that combustion rolling, which is really going to be that big moment where they can actually win the game. Mana not looking too good for Drainer. I kind of wonder if he's ever going to be able to sneak away and drink, but so far Reload Esports doing a great job maintaining their pressure and really keeping Creed kind of on the back foot, not allowing them to reset that combustion very often. Right now, Saza with a shifting power. He has 5 seconds left on that combustion. So Reload Esports, they need to figure out a way to deal with this next hit of explosive damage we're going to be seeing from Creed.
Yeah, they have a big opportunity here on Mercy. That next opportunity, they get a Hex. Here we go. There's a full Hex. Actually, it's DR on Lontar right there, so definitely don't recommend using the combustion here. Saza instead is going to be playing it patiently. They use that Soul Shape, and instead it's going to sheep Valet. Nice Shadow with Death there by Valet on the Polymorph, saving Lontar the trouble of having to Dispel right there. Instead can save that Dispel for Mercy. Now Mercy actually trading out that Die by the Sword right there. It looked like Saza just went for a rotational combustion right there again with no CC there onto Lontar. I really would have liked it if they just went for the Hex on Lontar again with the Saza just crossing the map like this. Baka has a pretty easy time landing those Hexes and then just popping the combustion in an actual setup. But now Lontar is going to have his Trinket, so that play that Baka did a little bit earlier that netted them, Lontar's Trinket Spirit Link, not going to be mattering too much for the outcome of this game here. Now, Baka actually getting reflected there on his Hex, but luckily for him, he is playing with a Mage. Saza can just dispel that one. Now, Saza getting silenced here. Big pressure on Saza. It could be the sacrifice from Drainer. He's going to trade it out to Trinket and sacrifice. Saza going to go back in time from that ulti time and get topped off. And now looking to get aggressive here once again, back over onto Mercy.
I really want to see Saza reposition here, drag Lontar into the midfield so Baka can get some opportunities to crowd control. They're going to Hex the Warrior, go after the Shadow Priest a little bit here. Mana slightly in favor now for Reload Esports with Dampening kicking in, but here comes the crowd control. Stun on Lontar into a Blinding Light. Mercy down at half with that Lightning Lasso, and Lontar doesn't feel comfortable, so he's going to Trinket out of the Blinding Light to try and stabilize Mercy here. Combustion's available. They've got a Stormkeeper. They could even swap to Lontar if they can catch him out in midfield, but right now Saza's in trouble trying to Soul Shape away. Here comes the Warbreaker, big damage incoming from Mercy, and that Blade Storm is making sure that he doesn't get crowd controlled. Saza tries to blink forward, polymorphs the Shadow Priest, double Dragon's Breath, trying to stall through the pressure that Mercy is dishing out, but they're not confident that they can stabilize. Saza actually trades an Ice Block in this position, and that does net Reload Esports a cooldown lead and mana advantage almost 7 minutes in.
Yeah, right now, decent damage here on Mercy. Baka in the midfield, just trying to set up his team. Lightning Lasso one to Lontar, but a swap coming in from Valet, pressuring Baka in this situation. Drainer was able to recover a lot of his mana, and at 13% dampening, that's the exact position that you want. Creed actually has a mana lead, but Saza is getting low. Intimidating Shout comes in. Saza could be his Cauterize. Drainer really trying to hold on. He uses the Divine Shield. Bombs out some heals, but that's Cauterize, that's Ice Block. Reload Esports in a great position to take down Saza. They just have to try to hold on, but at this point, I mean, if Saza is getting interrupted, it's going to be really difficult for him to reset that combustion. Reload Esports is doing a great job. Even though they're behind on mana, their pressure is going to start really adding up here, and I think Drainer's going to struggle.
Yeah, I really feel like the longer the game goes, the better it is for Reload Esports here. The one saving grace is that Lontar has no Trinket, but that was the combustion from Saza a little bit earlier being spent there, so they don't really have that much damage. It's going to have to be Baka doing most of the heavy lifting when it comes to the offense. Full Blinding Light here onto Lontar. Can they get a Hex or a Sheep? They're going to get the Sheep right there, and they're going to go after Valet here with the Stormkeeper, but Valet on that Shadow Priest just going to trade out the Fade. Shadow Priest is not a great target here, unfortunately, for the Mage Elemental, because he just has Fade, Dispersion, very effective against compositions that just want to kill you in 1 or 2 hits, like the Fire Mage Ellie, and instead it's going to be Mercy most likely as the main target. And I do agree with Sid. I think the next time Lontar triggers like that, if they can set up their next combustion to actually kill Lontar, that would be ideal. Saza actually just going to pop his combustion right there onto Mercy. Felt like he had an opportunity where he wouldn't actually get purged on it, so he just kind of did another rotational combustion right there. Lontar now standing in the Healing Rain. I'm not sure if he's actually playing the Healing Rain, the spell right there, but he is going to be able to keep Mercy nice and going here. Mercy now with Avatar as well, looking to get aggressive onto Saza. Saza still 2 minutes plus away from his Ice Block. Drainer with no sacrifice. They have that Blessing of Protection, but that's about it. The next time Saza gets stunned, they're probably going to have to trade that out, they're going to have to trade that out for sure and try to keep him alive with just raw healing.
So Lontar is actually running the Cleansing Waters, so he can dispel Flame Shock, Ignite, Polymorph. This is actually a really good counter to what Creed is running specifically. It totally dismantles their entire composition. If Lontar can get a healing rain down prior to a setup, he can likely remove everything that's going for Creed, and they've already got a huge advantage. Drainer is stunned up, Saza at half, into a Quaking Palm of Valet. Drainer has to trinket a Quaking Palm. That Pandera and Racial got a medallion out from Drainer, but now they're reversing the pressure. Lightning Lasso onto Mercy, Valet gonna silence it, try and stall out here. Baka's looking for Hex, gets wind sheared on it. Saza's still dangerously low on health. Gets the save by the light shield proc on top of a blazing barrier, but they're cutting through that. They're just absolutely owning Saza. Lontar's in a Hex, but it's a desperation Hex to try and prevent purges. Saza's going to run around the corner, try and avoid Mercy. Mercy's just going to go after Drainer a bit. Drainer's charging down Lontar. Does he have a blinding light? Something to turn the tide of battle. They've got likely 1 or 2 more combustions left in the tank here with this one available, but there's not a lot of good options. Lontar caught into a Dragon's Breath. If they can find this Polymorph, Overwatch, Spell Reflect. Nice timing by Mercy. Baka's trying to load up some Lava Bursts. He's got Stormkeeper coming up soon. They're going to need a one-hit wonder. They're going to need a miracle to turn this around. They're so dangerously low, and they're cutting through the Sacrifice. Can they kill Saza through Sacrifice at this point? They've procced the Wild Seed. They've cut it up, and they are not going to be given an opportunity for that one-shot wonder. Reload Esports go up 1-0.
I mean, that was a really convincing win from them as well. Only, you know, a couple of scary moments throughout the entire game, but that's to be expected against the Fire Mage Elemental Shaman. Reload Esports, they come prepared. They get a Game 1 victory, and at this point, I feel like for Creed, even though there was a few cooldowns left at the end, and I feel like in Deep Dampening, it really can go either way. I still feel like this isn't necessarily the greatest matchup for them. I wonder if they're going to switch it up.
We'll have to see if they do decide to switch off of that LE Fire Mage that Creed brought to that blind lock very shortly, but Reload Esports taking that game number 1 victory on the Grand Arena, and here's how it all went down.
Yeah, they just kind of ran out of time here. Drainer has the Blessing of Protection. He's low on mana. Saza has no Ice Block, no Cauterize. He's actually going to reset his Ice Block right here. And they're going to go ahead and try to pressure Mercy here. So I was just trying to line of sight him, but anytime he goes out here, he goes for the CC, but look at Mercy. Like, even if Mercy doesn't get that Spell Reflect on the sheep right there with the Overwatch, Belay was already pre-casting a Master Spell, so Saza is just having a tough time landing crowd control in general, and here they just get so much uptime there. They sacrifice a little bit too late right there, and as a result, Saza just takes a big hit, becomes a seed, and goes down without using his Ice Block. Ben
Rookie, yeah.
Okay.
Predictable.
Oh my god. You can't break the streak.
No.
Can't do it.
I mean, it's a long time ago. Jeez.
Oh man. All right. Well, game number 1 looking pretty good so far for Reload Esports, but it's a long match, and if that game is any indicator of what we're going to be seeing for the rest of this series, we may very well have a very close series on our hands. It's going to be Creed's map choice very shortly, and that means we're going to have to see Reload Esports blind lock in that composition. And we know the wide range of comps that Creed does play and is able to play. So really, Super Tees, they can bring anything to game number 2.
I actually don't. I wonder what their best option is in this matchup, because it feels like Warrior Shadowpriest Shaman is just good into everything. I mean, that's why Reload Esports, I think, picked it as their blind pick, but like Warrior Mage Paladin,
Turbo
might be okay. I swear Turbo is not a good pick. I want them to pick it just so that I can see it for sure that it's not a good pick in a Shadowpriest Warrior. So yes, the Creed should play Turbo. That will then.
Why
that will just
don't you think it's good?
That will confirm my suspicions. Because Shadowpriest Warrior is so durable. It's very difficult for Turbo to kill Shadowpriest because they always have a defensive cooldown for Doom Winds, which is like your main win condition as the Enhancement Shaman. So if the other team just fades your Doom Winds every time or disperses it, you can't really net a kill. And you'll lose on mana likely if the Warrior just tunnels the healer, is usually the strategy. The Warrior just tunnels the healer, the Shadowpriest 2v2s, the Enhance and the Warrior. I want to see them play it just to make sure. I haven't seen it too much with Paladin Healer, which might be a significant difference to have a Paladin Healer over what I see a lot or what I play as a Disc Priest. I don't know about a Mistweaver. It could be okay. I could see it being okay. I'd be worried about mana, but they should try Turbo one game. Then I'll know for sure.
I like that.
I believe.
What do you like about Mistweaver, Vin?
There's a few things that I like. They probably won't pick it, but
They're not
one
doing
of the things
it.
that one of the things that I like is Ring of Peace is really good for breaking up intervene. So if you can drop like a Ring of Peace between the warrior and the Shadow Priest, you can isolate the Shadow Priest. You can also knock him out of Earthen Wall Totem, which is big. And then in addition to that, the mobility that a Mistweaver Monk has allows you to go for crowd control. So when you are going for burst on Valet and Mercy, you can actually push in, get it paralyzed with Incapacitate, get a leg sweep potentially, and it's going to be a lot easier for Drainer on the Mistweaver Monk to get crowd control. But I feel like it's unlikely we do see that. However, I don't know how much faith I have in the mage compositions against what Reload Esports is running, in all honesty.
Well,
like, I don't know.
I feel like Creed knew, like, there's no way that they thought, oh yeah, Reload, they're going to look in Ret Warrior that loses to like half our comps. There's no way they thought that. So I really think that they were expecting Ellie, to play Ellie Mage into Shadow Priest Warrior. So I think they're going to look in the same thing that they did last game. And I think that's a bad sign for them because last game was a pretty convincing win for Reload. And I agree with you guys. I want to see the turbo, but the turbo is not going to happen because it's Tolver. So
No, it's not.
It's obvious they're going to look in Mage Ellie again, but it just it felt like they didn't get a single combustion that actually, like, they didn't force a single cooldown the whole game with combustion. That was a 10-minute game. Not a single combustion forced, like, as much as a trinket. They didn't force anything with any of those combusts. And that's partly on Saza just kind of using them whenever they're up, but also because the comp he's playing against has 2 offensive dispels, grounding totem. There's so many annoying things for Saza that he has to deal with. He's getting silenced when they're popping those combusts as well. So they're just focusing really, really big on shutting down Saza. So I feel like for Saza, he shouldn't even focus that much on actually getting as many combusts as possible. Just sit on the combustion, just run around, drag the warrior back and forth across the map, and every time his shaman is to chase him, that's when Baka's going to land a hex. As soon as you land that hex, lightning lasso, bzz, combustion, and that's really the only time you're going to be able to do anything. So I think play for those moments instead, and that's it. Allow Baka to just be the one who carries the game. Like, whoever is free in this matchup is the one who has to carry.
I really want Saza to play Meteor too. Like, Kindling is so nice, but the big problem is, I mean, you mentioned it. When you have a Shadow Priest and a Shaman dispelling you, without Meteor, it can be difficult to actually get off effective damage with your Combustion. With Meteor, all you need is Meteor, Combustion, Fire Blast, Fire Blast, Power Blast, and that's going to be enough damage for Baka to take someone down. But without that, I mean, it's just not the same kind of explosive burst, and I feel like Reload Esports is going to have a better time dealing with it. So we'll see what Creed can do on this bigger map. Saz is going to really have to focus on creating space and kiting and getting around. But I feel like if Reload Esports plays as well as they did in that last game, they're going to have a really difficult time getting anything rolling.
Yeah, they're definitely going to be in a pretty comfortable position right now, just chilling behind this pillar right here, waiting out the fire elemental of Baka, waiting to maybe re-engage here. I think both teams are kind of just happy sitting back. And I think for Reload, they're going to have to be the team that kind of has to charge in. Mercy here trying to make his way to the mage without actually having to use his charge, but he's going to have to use it and use that Stormbolt right there. Now trying to get back here onto Saza. Saza blinking away, trying to get some distance, trying to go for some sheeps. He actually gets one into Lontar. There's a double Dragon's Breath. This is a nice opportunity to counterspell the Master Spell here from Belay. There's the Overwatch Reflect. No more. Actually, they do get a follow-up sheep there onto Lontar. They also have a Hammer of Justice and a Blinding Light. This could be a combustion swap there onto Lontar, but Saza not pulling the trigger right there. Actually had a perfect opportunity to use it there, but maybe he didn't feel like he had enough damage to actually take him down without Baka. But now Saza going to be forced to go into kite mode here, and it's going to be up to Baka to really deal most of the pressure. Saza with a nice alter time, line of sighting the purges, tanking Mercy behind the pillar, looking for the Dragon's Breath polymorph. He finds it with a hex. Actually, there's the combustion. This is what we're talking about right here. Big damage potential here onto Mercy. He trades out the trinket, he trades out the die by the sword, and he trades out his rallying cry. And that was for Saza's cooldown. Baka still has everything. And last time around, it was this Trinket Spirit Link when Baka popped this cooldown. So this is looking a lot more better. They already got more value from that first combustion.
All right, let's see if they can set it up again and reset the combustion. It's going to be a lot more favorable of a map here for Creed to pull Mercy and Valet and Lone Tar out into the open. Lightning Lasso disrupted here. Nice shutdown by Lontar. Drainer repositions. Saza is getting chopped up. They have to trade out a Blessing of Protection here onto Saza just to restabilize to the damage of Mercy. Lontar uses Fleshcraft to cross into midfield, but he's getting pushed back by Drainer. Drainer's chasing down Lontar, looking for crowd control, but Lontar has managed to escape him for now. They're actually swapping to Drainer, trying to punish him for getting that aggressive. Drainer's going to hammer Justice the Warrior and try and escape away, but it seems like they're still going after him. With a charge execute, now trying to make their way over to Saza. It looked like Saza wants to go for Invis, but he got Heroic Leap, and that's a full Hex onto Lontar. Nice opportunity grabbed by Baka here. Can they take down Mercy with a couple seconds left on that Hex? Lightning Lasso, not enough. Silenced instantly by Valet. Valet trying to turn the tide of battle here, being left open, but now they're switching to him. He's blasted down to half health and immediately ducking around the corner to try and catch a heal. Playing that Shadowman legendary, I believe. There's a big Shadowman to recover. Going for Mind Games. Big damage onto Saza here with that Void Farm of Valet. Stun onto Drainer. They could get a caught. They could get a block. Maybe even the whole game. They get Divine Shield, Sacrifice, Blessing of Protection, and Ice Block. A list longer than my grocery list of cooldowns, but now suddenly almost turned it around and instantaneously kill Mercy. Lontar has to drop a Spirit Link Totem. I was just beginning to count Creed out, but that burst of damage definitely is keeping them in it.
Yeah, no question about that. Really good offensive push there by Creed. At the same time, Reload Esports, they got everything. Saza right now in so much trouble. This is going to be the cauterized mirror image. He's on the run. He's burning down. Intimidating shout on Drainer. Tremor Totem drops down. It looks like Saza might be able to hold on in the midfield, though. This is not the position you want. If you're Saza, you were getting dispelled by Lontar. Does get a sheep on Valet, but if you're stuck in the midfield with the Warrior training you down, Mercy getting bursted down, though. Mercy has to stay alive. Die by the sword trades. That should be enough. Valet actually getting interrupted. A beautiful setup. They could close it out right now. A big heal comes in from Valet, keeping Mercy alive, and that should be more than enough for him to live. Maybe not, though. This damage is unrelenting here by Creed. Definitely keeping this game interesting.
Yeah, their setups are looking a lot more deadly right now, and that's a good sign for Creed. But they did have to use their entire spell book, and the next time Saza gets stunned up, there's no answer right now. As soon as Drainer's wings fade, that's it. This could actually be it right here. Saza getting stunned up. You have a follow-up stun. It doesn't look like Mercy can find it. He blinks away to Drainer. Drainer gets the dispel. There's the Nightface Soul Ship. There is the DR Stormbolt now for Mercy. Maybe just came back up for him, but definitely needed that one earlier when he was behind the pillar right there. Now they get a fear onto Drainer here. Now Delay and Mercy caught in a double Nova. Saza looking for some sheeps here onto Lontar, and this is a good opportunity for Creed to get aggressive. Saza has his combustion. Lontar has no trinket. Mercy has no trinket. They need to get aggressive here. They're running away. I don't know if I like that. They had a quite nice opportunity right there to actually go and try to grab the win. There's no Trinket Spirit Link. There's no Void Shift. Delay has no Trinket as well. This was a really good opportunity for them. And now they just ran away. They're not going to really rotate back any important defenses. They already have sack. And other than that, it's just long cooldown defensive. So at this point, the Creed just kind of threw away their entire advantage here. And now they're going to have to go for a big turtle here. They're going to have to turtle for at least another 2 minutes if they want this line of play here to work out for them. So for Creed, they're just going to have to reposition, snare everybody, and just run. And as soon as Lontar gets his Spirit Link or Mercy gets his Trinket, they're going to feel comfortable to just push back in there. Very interesting decision making right there.
Yeah,
Fortunately, they've got a really big map to just run around in circles here. I mean, Drainer drank to full mana amidst them falling behind here. So if they can just stall a little bit longer, they've got to keep Mercy at bay. But Mercy's charging in with a Warbreaker. That's the big damage cooldown of a Warrior. But now he's a Polymorph and can't hit anybody at all as Saza takes control of the Warrior and Baka retreats away. Very frustrating situation as a melee DPS player to get crowd controlled and kited on your cooldowns. Now, trading Die by the Sword, I think Mercy, he's been hit by so many combustions that just kill him immediately that he's like, yep, combustion, Die by the Sword. Like, it's just an instant reaction for him, even in that situation where it didn't seem like it made the most amount of sense. None of his teammates were crowd controlled. He does not want to die to a combustion as he has in the past. But now he's going into battle stance. Popping Avatar, Stormbolt onto Baka, moving in for a Fear maybe, not able to get there in range, but he has it available. He's now polymorphed on his cooldowns again. Once again, the Angry Warrior just trying to get back onto a target, gets blinked away from. This is really good avoidance by Creed. They've realized that the Warrior is all of the pressure. Avoid his Avatar, avoid his Warbreaker, drag this fight out, try and burst him down out in midfield, win on mana, and play a very conservative game.
Yeah, I think that is the line of play that they need. Saza going for crowd control really isn't an option. If he's in the open for too long, if he's getting dispelled, that's the nightmare situation for Saza. And maybe they actually go after Baka a little bit more with the way Saza's playing. But if you leave Saza open, he's going to reset that combustion, and that's going to be a scary situation. But Mercy, they seem committed at this point for actually going after Baka. I don't know if this is the right move. Saza getting spam polymorphs out now, onto Valet, kind of controlling up the game, going for a Nova. And we'll see if they do switch it up. Now Saza, the target of choice, as Creed is retreating behind the pillar once again. But a full Stormbolt lands. Saza forced to trade out his trinket. Look at Saza, just a straight line. He's running as far as he can away from Mercy. That is the exact line of play that you want. They're going after Drainer. Lontar a little bit behind on mana, but this stall strategy from Creed is working out quite nicely. They do have pressure, and it seems like Reload Esports they're a bit hesitant to go all in.
Yeah, Creed, they've managed to stall for all of their cooldowns basically at this point. They got Divine Shield back, they got Blessing of Protection back, they got Ice Bolt back. Here comes the Combustion with the Mercy, big damage sphere. Mercy, what are you going to do? It's going to be Lontar trading out the Ascendus right there. Lightning Lasso coming out here as well, gets wind sheared the last second there by Lontar, and pretty fair exchange right there, but there was no crowd control onto Lontar, and I don't know. I feel like they really had the game in a checkmate situation. They had triple trinket down. They had combustion. Like, they just needed to go in there, but they want to play it. They want to play the long game here. And Drainer is going to trade out his Divine Shield right there. And I feel like one problem with playing the long game is that the Paladin is going to even if he drinks, he's going to before the Shaman. Like, there's no way Lontar gets out mana. But double-edged sword. Dampening is, of course, the fact that Lontar is also going to have to cast, and that's going to make him a lot more susceptible to just getting kicked and somebody getting deleted. Nice cross crowd control here with the Hex and the Sheep. Still good pressure here on the Mercy. He's going to activate that Battle Master. Wasn't feeling too safe there with that HP, so he's going to go ahead and activate that. Should be completely fine for now, and now getting aggressive here onto Saza once again, and he's going to come to a point in the game where Drainer can no longer even go for drinks just because the rot pressure is going to be so high. Valet already precasting the Master Spell there. Gets the Hammer's Justice onto Lontar. Lontar holding onto his wind shear here. Saza, though, gets the Aura Mastery into a full sheep. There's no Master Spell here. This could be a good push here if they get a stun with the Mercy. Look like they actually stunned him with the Pact, which means that he's going to be on stun DR now. So Mercy not going to be taking too much damage in that exchange, and he can continue the pressure onto Saza, Sid.
All right, let's see if he can stay on target here. Lontar's interrupted Dragon's Breath. Mercy is isolated, but that Lightning Lasso, he actually trinketed a almost fully diminished Lightning Lasso. Getting Medallion out of the way of the Warrior when Combustion is available, this is a very scary situation for Reload Esports. They're pushing in to try and go for the kill. Will they get punished for it? Coming back to Baka. Baka's going to launch them away from the fight. Door of Shadows around the corner. Baka, Fleshcraft immunes the Disorient. Trying to soak up some hits as well with the shield. Saza's repositioned far away from the Warrior. He wants none of that. But Drainer got left behind. He might get soloed by Valet here around the pillar. The sacrifice redirected a lot of damage. Lontar's not comfortable. He trades his Spirit Link Totem for the Combustion immediately here, seeing that the trinket was used. But Lightning Lasso is going to be secured. Doesn't look like there's enough damage to back it up. Valet getting polymorph. Saza's trying to stall, but Drainer's behind on mana at this point, despite having a lead earlier on. It's not looking like it's going to be a good position. Saza with no ice block, no sacrifice. If Mercy and Valet can just do enough damage here, they could close it out. Lontar into a full Hex. Baka's trying to turn it around. They drag Mercy out into the wide open field to try and take him down. It's all or nothing, I think, if they want to play out here. Valet is going to get a ton of damage out. They could go after Lontar. Baka wraps around the corner. They're swapping to Lontar.
Whoa!
Can they drop him? He's on 30%. Overwatch Reflect buys Lontar Global, and he's got to get out of the open. That was the gamble that Creed just played by repositioning there, baiting Reload Esports right out into the wide open. They net Astral Shift. They scare Reload Esports, but they haven't completely taken him out. Big lightning bolts into Lontar. He's going to have to pop Ascendance. I don't even know if he was truly prepared for himself to be the target, but I love that Creed are willing to mix it up and go after the Restoration Shaman a bit when he's crossing. But Baka is stunned. Drainer's in a fear. Tremor comes down just in time. Is What's Your Protection going to be enough here? Valet is dogpiling on top. Double Dragon's Breath. They're trying to get Baka away from the Warrior here, but now Saza was left behind. They're hitting Drainer, but I'm not sure Drainer's going to be the right target. Sky Fury Gets sniped by Mercy with that heroic throw. They fear the Shaman, but Dive by the Sword trades for combustion instantly. Mercy has instant reaction time to that combustion. Makes the fair trade. Now he's just going to continue training down Baka. He's waddling his way over. Stormbolt onto Baka. Charge to connect. Baka trinkets to retreat and Ghost Wolf. He's going to reconnect with a condemned charge. Trying to stay on target. Baka knocks Mercy around the corner. Door of Shadows. Mercy's trying to reconnect. Lightning lassoed on his Door of Shadows. Mercy is not having a good time right now.
Definitely not. I mean, Saza's just doing a great job baiting him into the open. They're actually going after Baka. Of course, he does have that Astral Shift. We'll see if he does make the trade. A full hex now on Saza gets dispelled there by Baka into a silence. Valet just getting crowd control on the DPS. At this point, I mean, dampening is so high. You have mortal wounds. It might be more effective to just shut down damage, and it seems like that's the line of play Valet is going to be going for. They're going after Baka. 46% dampening. Saza and his next combustion. I mean, that's going to have to win them the game. Baka's in so much trouble, and they know it. I think Reload Esports know at this point, it's when Baka's left open, he is the highest threat target, and at this point, he's just not recovering. Another Blessing of Protection trades out. Baka going to be using this pillar to just line of sight, try to get away from Mercy, but Mercy can get on target. This is going to be a disaster at the same time, though. Mercy gets dropped. A huge hit of damage that was not even the combustion. But this is the thing. I mean, on this large map, if dampening gets high, Reload Esports, I mean, this matchup becomes really scary for them if Creed plays it correctly.
Yeah, that was insane. What a turnaround there. Just dragging them out in the open, focusing on just not letting the warrior hit anybody. And then they were able to get that big hit there. Even through Lontar's trinket. I actually don't know what he trinketed.
Well, we might get to see. But yeah, the game just becomes so unstable. I really like how how Creed played this one. I think when you're playing this composition, you're playing the Mage Ellie, like just living, surviving, dragging is like the best thing you can do, and I think it really threw Reload Esports off.
Yeah, definitely is a viable strategy here for them. Well, it is a little unstable, but it worked out for them. This was definitely a close call there on the Baka as well. Like, if they don't win the game here, I mean, look at Lontar. He has 38 seconds on his Spirit Link, and everybody on his team is full HP, so how do you lose here? Let's see what happens. So they're going aggressive. They're trying to purge. But he gets sheeped. He trinkets this sheep, I think, late. Yeah, there's a trinket. He gets Dragon's Breath on the trinket into a DR sheep. And yeah, it's just the Stormkeeper there from Baka doing some work with the zaps and a couple of fire blasts there from Saza as well. And yeah, that's the map as well, doing a lot of work there. Every time you have to cross those big distances, Lontar always is going to risk getting crowd control like that.
And now we do have a tied series on our hands in this best of 5 series. 1-1 right now, Reload Esports versus Creed. If you look at the match record as well of these two teams, they've been in this position really for quite some time. They have a 1-1 match record this season. Reload did win that last series. It was in EU Cup number 4. And then even if you look at the standings of where they currently are, they're both 4-2 right now. So I mean, these two teams, very, very close, very similar skill set, but also very different teams, Venriki.
Yeah, I mean, both of them have shown a lot of flexibility, though, with their current rosters. I feel like for Reload right now, they have done a pretty good job with this one composition. I feel like they've kind of realized how strong the Shadow Priest Warrior Shaman is, and I think on a small map, this is still a matchup that they can easily take. And I'm curious if they do go to a small map, we go to Hook Point, for example, if Creed is going to have that same level of confidence, locking in the Fire Mage Elemental Shaman, because I really do think if they can't just run laps across the entire map, like create, 50, 60, 70 yards of distance where Saza's not getting purged down, if they can make the game last that long, because I feel like they really, as weird as it sounds, you would think that for Creed, what they want is just a one-shot, but it seems like Reload Esports, they can deal with the one-shots. What they can't deal with is just dampening being so high that their Shaman basically doesn't have throughput anymore without the Spirit Link Totem, without the Ascendance. And I feel like that's what their win condition is. I mean, Creed, if they're going to play this comp, I think they're the ones that need dampening. They really do. They can get really deep into dampening 50%. That's when the Shaman it's a nightmare for him.
You think we see that level of dampening on Hook Point, Ben?
Well, I think if Creed wants to win, yeah. I mean, outside of them just getting like kind of a random fluky one-shot, unless they set it up perfectly, I feel like the way Creed wins this one is just stalling, running, surviving until 40, 50, 60% dampening, and that's when they can win, but it's going to be hard to do on Hook Point.
Yeah, definitely a big contrast here with Hook Point compared to that last match. So we'll see if Creed can have that level of control that we did see in game number 2. And I mean, it's tied up right now. So Creed, if they want to, if this goes to a game 5, winning these swing matches are going to be absolutely crucial to Creed. But it's going to be very, very difficult to do, as this was not their map choice. They're not really on home turf here. So we're going to see Reload Esports if they continue this pattern of that back and forth, or if we do see Creed putting themselves on match point. It's Hook Point. As I've highlighted so much, these two teams are extremely close in points, in game record, in standings right now in the circuit, and it is all coming to a head right here in this series, their last series, where this is the last time we're going to see either of these teams in this circuit.
Yeah, the battle for second place continues here on Hook Point. We are 1-1 right now after Creed taking that big win on Tolver. Now they're gonna see if they can repeat it here on Hook Point. And I gotta say, in game number 1, their Mage Ellie looked somewhat lost. They looked a lot better in game number 2. No Meteor here for Saza. Big damage though onto Villet here from Baka. And we're gonna see, look at Saza. He is playing that same strategy, just trying to drag Mercy as far away as possible from Lontar and then just cross the map, and they're just going to keep doing that. And they're actually pressuring Belay a lot more and just crowd controlling Mercy here. They're actually getting a big opener here onto Belay. They do get the Master Spell there, but a Dragon's Breath into a DR Sheep by Saza. Nice push here coming out from Creed, and it's going to net them some cooldowns at least. You get the Fade, you get the Trinket there from Belay as well. No dispersion though, and Saza did commit the late combustion there as well, so unfortunately for him, wasn't able to get that dispersion, but still good pressure here in the opening stages.
All right, let's see if they can keep it up here. Hammer Justice into full Hex. Nice crowd control by Creed. They've isolated the Warrior. Beautiful setup actually, but not enough damage to really spook Reload Esports into making any sort of cooldown trade. If they get those setups with Combustion, then it could easily be a kill though. So Mercy has always got that threat lurking in the back of his mind as he's trying to stay on target. Saza soul shapes into midfield. Baka's launching lightning bolts to try and keep him at bay, but Mercy is reckless. He does not care. Leaping onto Saza, blade storming any potential slows, and really dealing a ton of damage out onto Saza. Saza alter-timed, though, and soaked all of it and healed himself right back to full. Well-timed alter-time, and he patiently saved Frost Nova, Frost-Noving both Valet and Mercy behind the pillar, and then jumping back into the fight. And this has been really good avoidance by Saza so far. We see Lontar getting swapped to maybe potentially, so he's going to use Astral Shift, anticipating attacks onto himself. Saza's trying to utilize even this small map to run circles and laps away from the Warrior. I was almost going to say that I was surprised that they went for this composition on this map, as this is probably going to be their most challenging scenario, but so far they're navigating it pretty well.
Yeah, I would say so. I mean, Saza, I think he's just realized, like, the way you win this matchup is just surviving, just stalling as long as you can. He's just going for Dragon's Breath on Mercy when he gets there, going for Polymorphs, Nova, running out of line of sight. Basically, for Saza, what he wants to do is just avoid getting purged. That's the main thing. Sometimes I feel like mages make the mistake of, you know, staying in the fight a little bit too long, but what's better to do is just avoid Valet spamming Dispel on you, avoid Lontar spamming Dispel, and now a big swap coming in on Lontar. Should be able to survive, though. This is a combustion from Saza, but just not enough throughput at this point of the game. Grounding Totem comes in, Spell comes in, Saza's damage fades, and now we're going to see Creed go back to just all-out stalling Polymorphs on to Mercy, the Warrior. And you can see Saza just constantly blinking away. Never blinking to engage, only using Shimmer to run away and avoid the fight.
Saza is basically playing 2v2 right now. He's just, oh, Villet dropped for 1% HP right there. I can't believe that. That was so close right there that he just died through the fade. For just a split second, his HP spiked down there. And I mean, that's what you're going to keep playing for if you're Creed. Look at Saza just running the entirety of this game. He's just playing twos with Mercy here. And then Mercy charges, Saza blinks. Anytime as Mercy reconnects and Saza gets stuck, there's a freedom from Drainer. And he's just spamming out Frost Bolts, dragging Mercy behind the pillar, Dragon's Breathing him into a sheep. And occasionally they get a Hex onto Lontar and you just zap Mercy here. And this is one of those important moments here, but they don't actually get the CC onto Lontar there, unfortunately for Baka, but still good pressure with that Lightning Lasso. And It's this is just going to be the game here. They figured out how they want to approach this matchup. They don't want the mage to just ever fall behind. If the warrior isn't hitting anybody, then it's a fair exchange, and it's also going to be going kind of easy for Drainer in terms of mana. Drainer's just going to be more susceptible to spending his mana much quicker, so if they can drag the game to a point where Drainer still has mana, then he can use his big, powerful immunity cooldowns that stop damage, and Lontar, only has one of those with Spirit Link. That's their win condition. Now they get a Hammer of Justice onto Lontar. Nice defensive fear, though, by Mercy, and they're actually going to swap to Lontar here with the remainder of that combustion. Good pressure there from that combustion, but also nice defense again from Mercy. Both teams are going to be surviving for now, Sid.
All right, let's see if they can keep it up with dampening 10 seconds away. That's when things really start to heat up in this matchup between these teams, battling for second and third seed overall in the circuit, and also sort of establishing which one of them is more likely to be able to take the whole thing. Both of these teams have been quite a challenge for skill capped, but now they battle to sort of determine their power levels against each other, which is going to be interesting to see the result. Currently evenly matched, 1-1. A full Hex lands onto Lontar. He's unable to heal. Will they be able to blast down Mercy with the remaining second? Doesn't look like enough damage is available, but a triple Dragon's Breath hits the whole team. Saz is on the run with a triple Frost Nova. Saz is getting excellent crowd control. Valet counters with a Mass Dispel, removing all of that Frost Nova. Now they're attacking Drainer, and I like this, just going after whoever's nearby, maximizing your damage and trying to develop a mana lead that way, but Mercy's now polymorphed. Baka and Valet are kind of just going at each other here on the pillar, and it looks like Valet is starting to get the upper hand. Mind Games, Saza going to blink out a line of sight of it. Now let's see if Valet can land this Mind Games again. It looks like it did finish its cast. Saza and Baka down at half health. Drainer's waiting for Avenging Wrath. It comes up in about 12 seconds. That's going to be his highest healing output. So he really needs to just stall for a couple more seconds to get to that point. But the damage is starting to overwhelm both Baka and Saza. 2 seconds away from the Avenging Wrath for Drainer. He's going to pop it immediately off cooldown and get a big Holy Light here, topping his whole team. Good recovery by Drainer. And still even at this point, almost 6.5 minutes in, which is a bit surprising. I would have imagined one of these teams to start establishing a lead.
Yeah, you would expect that. I mean, Drainer right now positioning very far away, potentially even looking for a drink. We got a Lightning Lasso coming in from Baka, just a little bit of pressure, triple Dragon's Wrath. Drainer's going to full mana. They need to shut it down. Actually, he hasn't gotten out of combat just yet, so unable to recover really too much mana, but that would have been a great opportunity. I was kind of wondering what kept him in combat there. Definitely unfortunate for Creed. Saza's still on the run, getting a Blessing of Protection, just trying to kite, trying to make space, trying to run away. Baka just trying to find a one-shot opportunity if he can, but Drainer with no sacrifice, no trinket, running out of tools to actually keep his team alive on the small map that is Hook Point. Saza going for a Rune of Power, really trying to bolster his damage, but not finding too much. Lontar deflects with the Earthen Wall Totem. Now Reload Esports is looking to continue the chase. You can see all three members kind of grouped up together, just trying to, as a unit, get on top of Saza, dispel him, and get out as much damage as possible.
Yeah, we're going to see Saza, though, still playing that defense, keeping up Mercy, line of sighting the Mind Games there. Now they're swapping over to Baka here, and that's... Belay here, though! Finally going to be trading out that Dispersion. Didn't want to risk it. And Lontar now dropping the Sky Fury Totem here, looking to get aggressive. Mercy finally getting some uptime with the Saza, but that was the altered time right there. And now he's stuck in a Stormbolt, but he is playing that Orc Mage, so it's not going to last super long. Gets a Sheep onto Mercy, gets Dispel, he gets a Nova on the Dispel, Counterspell on the Belay. This is an opportunity for... nice spell reflect there by Mercy on the Sheep. This is an opportunity for Baka and Saza to get aggressive onto Belay here. While he's crossing the midfield, they get a full Sheep onto him. There's the Fade from Belay. Doesn't have Master Spell though. There it is. Master Spell now gonna come out, and Mercy dropping also to about 40-50% HP. The stall tactic is working out. Drainer has good mana. Baka has all his defensives. Saza has all his defensives. That was the combustion. Got immediately purged off right there. And Mercy able to hold on to his Dive of the Sword. Now they're going after Drainer here. Beautiful pressure. Nice spell reflect there on the Sheep, onto Saza, while they have that pressure onto Drainer here. Nice fear here as well by Mercy. He's looking to push for that Divine Shield. Drainer has no trinket right now. He's dropping quite low. Still choosing to hold on to it. Pops the Avenging Wrath. And I don't think Drainer will go down through that. There's a Hammer of Justice now onto Lontar here. There's no way Drainer goes down here. Now it looks like they could continue a chain onto Mercy, but there's no Sheep out of the Hammer of Justice there, so looks like Reload will be able to regroup. They Sheep Mercy here while Drainer's drinking. Drainer's getting a... Oh my god, that Hex was beautiful. The Drainer actually able to get full mana because of that cheap X combo right there. And Creed again in a prime position, Sid.
If Creed win the swing match here, I feel like they're going to take the whole series, and that drink, regenerating Drainer back to 100% mana, could be key to that potential victory. Dampening hitting a critical mass, 27% healing reduction here. Combustion coming up very soon, and Lightning Lasso being channeled on Valet. They're trying to bait some cooldowns here. What are they going to get? Can they get Dispersion? Valet ducks around the corner, going for a Shadow Mend, healing himself up with that Battlemaster trinket. Drainer repositioning behind the fence line, and I have to say Creed have played this map out excellently. This is quite a difficult map as double caster to try and avoid and get drinks and set up burst damage, but going side to side has worked well for them. Now they get the Spirit Link Totem. They are completely running away with this game at the moment. If I was Reload Esports, this is when I would start to panic. They've got to find a way to keep it together. They've just got to truck slow momentum. That's the advantages of the Warrior and the Shadow Priest. Just develop this momentum and then ride it out. If they become scared and prevent and stop doing damage, then they're going to never develop that momentum. So they're trying to push through the pain, stay on target, and get to that critical mass.
Yeah, that's exactly what they need to do here, but let's see if they can do it. It's not so easy when Saza's avoiding the purges. He gets a polymorph on Mercy, and it's been a nightmare for Mercy to actually get damage rolling. Once again, we're seeing Drainer just run away from the fight. He's crossing the map. Saza goes for a double Dragon's Breath, potential full polymorph. Unfortunately, gets silenced there. Nicely done there by Valet. Then Mercy is actually the one getting blasted. He's trying to have a 1v1 with Baka right now, but that is a 1v1. He's not winning. A Lightning Lasso comes in. Mercy actually just trades out the trinket. He's going for it. Reload Esports has had enough. Avatar's up. They're looking to chop up Baka. Let's see if they can actually do it. He's got the Astral Shift. He's not feeling too scared. Now it's actually Mercy on the run. A double Dragon's Breath, triple Dragon's Breath by Saza. Gets reflected. Nicely done there by Mercy, freeing his team from crowd control. Finally a moment to breathe here from Lontar, but Mercy maybe getting a little impatient here. I mean, it's been a struggle, kind of a frustrating game for him, but now Drainer crosses the map. He's full mana. He's 100% mana at 40% dampening. I would say this game is actually heavily in favor of Creed at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. But Saza did an important mistake right there. He blinked in and went for that Dragon's Breath, and that's not something that he can afford to do. But Mercy right now taking massive damage. There's no Spirit Link for Lontar. How's he going to pick him back up? Belay's going for the Shadow Man. He gets counterspelled on it. Lontar's in a Hammer of Justice. The Master Spell comes out. He gets Wind Shear on it. Mercy's still super low. There's the Overwatch Reflect. He's charging back onto target. He gets a big heal right there, able to recover, but full sheep here onto Lontar. There's the Dragon's Breath now on by Saza into the Nova right there. And now Saza, once again, just going to run here. And this is exactly what he needs to do. Just run, run, run. Whoever is the free caster in the Mage Ellie team is the one that does the damage. Right now, it's going to be Baka here taking the damage. Lightning Lasso coming out, and that means Saza needs to apply the pressure. Drainer in a Psychic Horror. Still anybody's game, but I would say Creed still in the driver's seat. They have the sacrifice. They have cooldowns to trade here. All they have to do is just trade it. The Drainer is going to Divine Shield sacrifice, but it went off and he died at the same time. I'm confused. He's not playing Ultimate Sacrifice, I suppose, and he's not. And did he think he was, or why did he trade so late? I don't know. But Reload Esports, they're gonna take it on the small map.
Lots of questions from Zico on that one.
Yeah.
I mean, we'll see in the replay.
I really thought it was fine there. They had bubble, they had the wings, they had the sacrifice. Like, could have made that trade a lot faster and just stayed alive 100% there.
Well, we are going to be seeing that go to Reload Esports now on match point 2-1, winning that very last game on hook point. And here that is as well.
Right, so here they had a good push offensively. Everything looks good here. The only thing they don't have is the personal cooldowns of Baka. Okay, they don't have wings as well, but they have bubble, they have sacrifice, they have trinket, they have sacrifice. And here they get the pressure onto Baka. Lightning Lasso comes out. Big damage coming out from Saza. Mercy dropping quite low. Drainer gets crowd control. Like here, he can just bubble. Sack. He's trying to wait a little bit with the trade. Here, still not trading. Stormbolt dead. And then he bubbles and sacks, and he dies at the exact same time. So I think Drainer just... he should have just bubbled the fear right away there, but maybe he was... Did Baka... No, Baka didn't have a Tremor Totem. Or maybe he was waiting for a Tremor Totem, and that's why he didn't want to bubble right away, but it's still unfortunate for Drainer there. Not able to get the trade in time, and fortunately for Reload Esports, they're going to keep their lead in the series.
Yep, they only need to win this very next game to win this very last European series in the AWC circuit. That would be absolutely huge for them, but they do have the disadvantage now heading into this game number 4. Creed did lose that last game, and therefore that means that it is their map choice, and they're going to pick something that is extremely at a disadvantage to their composition here. If we expect these same comps, do we think that we see a larger map once again from Creed, Ben?
Oh yeah, Empyrean Domain, there's no question about it. I mean, if you're playing double Wizards and you don't pick Empyrean Domain, to quote Sid, you're literally just throwing the series. So at this point, I feel like going to a big map.
Specifically Empyrean Domain though, right? Nothing else.
Yeah.
Yes. If it's not Empyrean Domain, throw it away. No, I'm just kidding, but I feel like that's probably where we go. Ashamane's Fall could be an option as well, but kind of unlikely. Honestly, with the way with the way Creed is playing this, I feel like they could even go Mugambala. I mean, it's oh no. Okay, so they're going to get Empyrean
They agree
Domain.
with me, Vin.
I was looking.
Okay, they agree with me.
Yeah, but they went to Tolvir before, though.
Yeah, they did.
They still went here.
That's interesting.
They're saving
They
best
went
for
here
last.
on match point. Yeah, this is where it really counts because they can't lose this game. I'm with you.
Okay.
Well, if we want to see, so Creed, if they do lock in that double caster cleave here in a minute and 40, what do we want to see Reload Esports potentially do? Because obviously they're very much at a disadvantage here, Ven, in this larger map. We saw them lose on Tolveron. What could they do to maybe get a win here in this last game?
I mean, it's all about just keeping up the pressure on Creed. Creed, the entire game, they're trying to disengage, run away, trying to just isolate a target. I feel like Reload Esports, they just need to play it patient. They need to make sure they're not overlapping cooldowns. That's a big thing because they are durable. They have a lot they can rotate through, but if we see Lone Tar Trinket at the same time as Mercy, that's a disaster. If we see Dab of the Sword at the same time as Spirit Link, that's a disaster. So Reload Esports, they just need to make sure that they always know who's going to be trading next, giving them the most possible time to develop a slow kind of lead, because Creed, it's all about burst damage for them. And if they can live long enough, then it just takes one setup where Lone Tar doesn't have any heals or any cooldowns left where they can win the game. For Reload Esports, they just have to get that slow advantage over time, stay on target, and it's not going to be easy to do on Empyrean Domain, honestly. If Saza is only using Soul Shape to get away, only using Shimmer to escape, and avoiding purges, then I think it's going to be really difficult to actually take him down. So maybe even look for more Shaman swaps in this map. Go after Baka a little bit more if he overextends, as he's been kind of the person to set to set Creed up to actually win the game. So lots to look out for Reload Esports, but on this large map, it's definitely going to be a difficult one.
Yeah, and we saw, them kind of implement a lot of that the last time we did see this matchup on Tolveron, and, we saw Mercy quite a bit up in their faces being super, super aggressive, and they weren't able to secure that victory. So we'll see if they can do it here on Empyrean Domain, but this is Creed's map choice. Obviously, they're going to be looking to stay in the series, looking to tie things up, but it's going to be that game number 5 that is going to really be the determining factor. And then, since we did see Reload Esports win game number 1, Creed is at a disadvantage in this series, regardless of the fact that we're seeing this go back and forth so far between team to team in terms of winning. Winning that blind pick is absolutely crucial when you have two teams so close, such as these two teams, Reload Esports and Creed. So Zico, game number 5, if we do see it, which is I feel like pretty likely, that's really where it starts to count.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for both of these teams, there's a lot on the line. They're playing for second, they're playing for third place here. And of course, both of these teams most likely going to be sticking to their comps. They were able to stall a decent amount, though, on hook points. So I wouldn't count Creed out. If it does come to a game 5 on a small map, potentially we would see something like maybe $1 on sewers. But still, hook points out of the way, and they had a decent showing there. But for them, of course, they got to focus on this next game to even get to that point. Of course, they are on match point here. They got Empyrean Domain, crowned the best wizard map in the entire game here by Super Tees, one of our experts. And we're going to see if it's going to be enough for them to win this matchup here. But for Creed, it's all about running away, disengaging, play 2v2 with Mercy here. It's like you're playing Mage Paladin versus Resto Shaman Warrior. You're just running away from the Warrior. If the Warrior isn't attacking you, that means that you're doing a good job.
You're winning.
Yeah, you're winning. No, really, that's literally what it means. And of course, for Reload Esports, like Ben already kind of mentioned, you just want to get those purges out. You want to keep that pressure up. And they're actually going to be targeting Baka here, which is going to allow Saza to get more combustions and be more aggressive. And Saza going to opt to play that Kindling still here and no Meteor right there. Nice triple War Stomp here by Drainer. And good pressure here. That toothpick pillar really hard to kind of avoid these wizards on those small pillars that we can see Creed working with here. So Creed able to get a lot of pressure as a result because of those small pillars, but still Reload Esports hang on from that first combustion without really having to trade anything.
All right, let's see if they can keep up their momentum now and stay on target. My eyes are basically just on Mercy, glued to Mercy. How is he doing? Is he getting uptime? Is he avoiding stuns? Drainer charges in for a Hammer of Justice. Clotheslining Mercy on his escape path here, but now he's going to pop Avatar. He's trying to get some damage out with the Avatar. He really needs to connect. He's going to go for a Stormbolt Condemn charge. Big damage connecting onto Saza. Saza get a Blazing Barrier to try and absorb some of those hits. They're trying to purge those off. Lontar is getting aggressive. Lontar is taking Drainer's Pillar. A very aggressive stance from Lontar here, hexing the Lightning Lasso. He does stop it at least. Back had to stop his Lightning Lasso to interrupt, but he actually turns it around with a full hex. Now they're going to go after Valet a little bit here. Saza's in enemy territory. Polymorph Mercy. Saza is very far away from Drainer right now. Not the biggest fan of this. He's going to Frost Nova, Dragon's Breath, and try and get away, but a Stormbolt clotheslines him. He now has to use Medallion and blink into center field back to Drainer's line of sight. It looks like Drainer set up a drink while he was doing that, but it was maybe a 5% mana drink at best. And now his team is starting to fall a bit behind with no Avenging Wrath for 20 seconds. Could be difficult to recover. Lightning Lasso stops Mercy in his tracks, though. Windshield by Lontar. Baka's going to have to get into Ghost Wolf here very soon and get away from Mercy. Thunderstorms Mercy away on his charge. Mercy just charges over to Saza instead. Now Saza's like, why did you do this to me, Baka? Knocking this warrior over here. I don't want to deal with this. He's down to half, blinking away out into the outskirts of the map. Valet pushes aggressively and takes the pillar. I really like what Valet and Lontar are doing. Whenever Saza's cutting to the opposite side of the map, they just immediately take the pillar that's next to where Saza is playing. Now we see Saza moving towards that pillar in the back with Drainer. Drainer's just trying to drink, and you can tell that Creed just want to go to 80% damp. They just want to do damage and not die. That is their main game plan. So long as they don't trip on the finish line, like in the last game where they underreacted, when you get into deep dampening, the way that you trade your cooldowns becomes a bit wonky. It's not just, oh, they popped Avatar, I'll sacrifice you. It becomes, oh, they're just attacking you and my healing is reduced by 60%. I need to use sacrifice. And as long as you can readjust to dampening being that high, I would imagine Creed taking this deeper into dampening, but they are sold on this, just running laps on the outside of the map. It plays to the advantage of their comp, bait a target into a bad position, pray for some lottery lava bursts, get a good combustion set up, and go for a kill. So Creed are definitely playing to their win condition, although it might not be the most aggressive or flashy of strategies. It is definitely a winning one, so I don't blame them for going this route.
No, I mean, no question about it. It's exactly what they need to do. The problem is for Saza, I mean, one of the main reasons why he does this is because if you just sit there and trade, you end up taking too many dispels, you take too many interrupts, you're taking too much damage from Valet. Whereas with this strategy, you're basically just forcing a 2 versus 1 situation onto Mercy. You get to keep a lot of your defense in your Triune Ward, and it makes it a lot more difficult for the side of Reload Esports to actually develop that kind of rot momentum that the Shadow Priest Warrior is a little bit known for. You can see Saza just crossing the map, just going for shifting powers once again, trying to reset that combustion. He has it available, so Creed in a prime position right now to get some damage rolling. But I want to see Saza try to cross the map again before they really pull the trigger on that cooldown. We'll have to see. Mirror Image is going to be used by Saza. It's going to snare up the enemy team, also provide a little bit of damage reduction. If they get it, Polymorph now on Lontar. Mercy might have to be a little bit scared in this situation. Baka and Saza have a huge hit of damage available. You look at Valet's positioning right now, opting not to chase nearly as aggressive, now using Door of Shadows, but wants to kind of remain near a pillar. Saza's still just on the run. He's in the open. He's getting freedom from Drainer. And you see the Frost Bolts coming in from Saza as well. Some new utility for the Fire Mage in Shadowlands. You can actually use that Frost Bolt to throw out some snares, and you don't often see it, but in this match, he just really wants to make Mercy's life kind of miserable in this matchup. I mean, that's his main objective.
Yep, and he's got his combustion. It actually triggers out of a stun right there, but it's overlapped with the sacrifice from Drainer. So a little bit of a defensive overlap, but Drainer is not running the ultimate sacrifice. He's running those blessed hands. So he's going to have 2 blessings of protections, double freedoms. Drainer getting silenced up there. Actually dispels as well and gets psychic horror. And now counterspell snuck in onto Valet. This is the Sky Fury totem from Lontar. This could be good pressure here onto Saza. Nice shutdown though with that lightning lasso. Valet getting a nice grip there as well onto Mercy and getting him out of danger. Now Polymorphs coming in here onto Mercy. They're just doing what they have been doing the entirety of the game, just shaping up Mercy, Nova Mercy, Frostbolt Mercy, and just trying to get that distance between Saza and Mercy, trying to stop him from having any of that uptime and not really going for that CC that much. And there it is. They just go for a Dragon's Breath. Like they don't even go for the Dragon's Breath sheep. They just straight up went for a Dragon's Breath combust into Dragon's Breath, and it netted them the dispersion. So the reason why they do that is so Saza won't actually have to go for a sheep and work through all of those interrupts. And while he's doing that, he's taking a lot of damage. So just going for the Dragon's Breath into damage seems worth. Drainer actually forced a trinket here. Baka taking a lot of damage. Drainer actually forced to use his Divine Shield and his trinket in that same exchange, and they also got the Astral Shift. So Reload Esports all of a sudden forcing out the entire spellbook here of Creed.
All right, let's see if they can ride that momentum now with dampening kicking in at almost 13%. They netted quite a few cooldowns. They have the option to maybe even kill Drainer, although it might be risky. Mercy is just chasing Saza. Mercy is such a tough choice. It's like, do I stop the drink? Do I hit the shaman or the mage? They're all 80 yards in different directions. So he's going to pick the path of the elemental shaman, having gotten Astral Shift. I think that makes more sense to ride the momentum here. Now Baka has retreated and goes with that Blessing Protection, so maybe switching to Saza is a good idea. Dragon's Breath clotheslines Mercy on his charge, but he charges once again. Over onto Saza, charges once again with a Condemn. Over onto Saza, he's trying to use Soul Shape to escape here, but a Condemn once again allows him to connect to Saza. He's going to Blade Storm out of the slows, getting right back on target. Triple Fear, beautiful setup here by Mercy. He's going to dive by the Sword of the Combustion and just get aggressive, staying right on the Elemental Shaman, leaping the Thunderstorm. Saza is rotting down. This is the momentum that Reload Esports need to ride. Drainer doesn't have an Avenging Wrath unless, of course, an Awakening proc happens. Then he does immediately get an Avenging Wrath right now and recover his entire team. So Drainer is very thankful for that, although he's getting crowd controlled on it with the Quaking Palm. Trying to slow down some of his recovery, and now still 20 seconds away from his major Avenging Wrath. Uses Divine Toll, but it didn't really do too much. Saza is getting chopped up. Sharpened Blade is active. Mercy wants to connect that onto Saza before he's healed to full, but I don't think Mercy can get to target. He's going to go after Baka instead. Baka now with Astral Shift off cooldown has it to trade, but his team is not in a good position for the strategy that they're trying to employ. They're behind on mana, behind on defensive cooldowns, and behind on momentum. So to me, unless they set up a Drake, they're just going to rely on banking a kill on this warrior, just KOing him. But without combustion, that's going to be tough.
Drainer's sitting down. He's thirsty. He's getting some mana. Look at him. He's still sitting down. Recovers about 10-15% of his mana in that exchange. I like that. Just go for those drinks. And honestly, I feel like for Reload Esports, they've been doing a pretty good job keeping up the pressure so far. But as dampening gets higher and higher, it becomes more and more difficult to do that. And so far, Creed, they're looking really good in this series. But I feel like Reload Esports, to their credit, they've managed to hold on to so many of their defensives. And even in the last game, I mean, it was looking basically perfect for Creed until it wasn't. Reload Esports, they only need one kind of all-in push. They just need a little bit of momentum that they can ride, and they can definitely still win this game. And they're just one away from closing out the series. Creed, they need to win 2 in a row if they want to have any hope of winning this one. So Silence now onto the Polymorph of Saza. Not going to allow Saza to get any sort of crowd control on Lone Tar, but a full Polymorph lands at the same time, though. It's going to be Baka, who's taking quite a bit of damage. Will they going for a potential Master Spell here? No, realizing Mercy's in trouble. Not the greatest time to use the Master Spell. He's going to be holding on to it, but Mercy is quite far away. And I like the thing I like Mercy is doing in this match is, even though he's overextending, he kind of has to, but he's just using the pillar to LOS as well. Saza is going to be dragging him to a pillar across the map. He's more than happy to just use that pillar and allow Valet and Lone Tar a little bit of time to reconnect and heal him up. I think it's smart.
Yeah, Mercy definitely been playing a great game so far. Able to keep that uptime. Nice wind shear there on the Lightning Lasso. Mercy now going to be going over onto Baka, and he's doing exactly what Veruca was talking about there. Just using the pillar while there's a CC on Lontar there, and just trying to survive for a little bit, and then making his way back to his target. Right now, that target is going to be Saza. Mercy doesn't look like he has too much mobility here to reconnect. He's actually taking a lot of damage here, and this is we're starting to get to the point where the damage is getting slowly but surely kind of unhealable here for Lontar. Lontar still able to keep his teammates in the fight for now. They still have a lot of cooldowns to trade with as well. So, for Reload Esports, the damage is going to be a little bit tougher to deal with, but they still have a lot of cooldowns to answer with. So, still in a prime position here. And for Creed, they've almost stalled back from that situation where they had to use Drainer's Trinket, his Divine Shield, like basically everything. They have most of their cooldowns rotating back up. Saza still with a lot of defense available. And now the big push here onto Lontar. That's the combustion. That's a big swap there. He gets his Trinket with that push very nicely done there by Creed. And that's going to make Lontar feel a little bit less safe when he's crossing the map like this. And now, once again, they can look to crowd control Lontar, get those lightning lassos out onto Mercy, and look to build up that pressure. But they also repositioning here next to the pillar. Zaza looking for crowd control, looking to reset that combustion as quickly as possible. And this is kind of an ideal situation if you're Zaza. I mean, they're going for your Shaman. You just went for that CC chain, and now you have an opportunity to go for a new CC chain. Nice counterspell there on the Master Spell. Here comes the damage onto Mercy, but there's no Lightning Lasso here to be found. And now Saza getting another sheep here onto Lontar. Now sheeping up Delay here. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to do too much here, but Mercy forced to stay back behind that pillar on his avatar, forced to kind of run away because of that CC chain. So now, once again, he's going to have to hit the closest wizard to Lontar here.
Belay ducks for cover here at the pillar, catching a couple Shadow Men's. Drainer needs a drink. How much mana can he get here? What is he willing to trade on match point? He's trying to get up to full, but he can't greed it. He's going to trade out Sacrifice. Mercy gets Lightning Lassoed. Stormkeeper is channeled. Big Lightning bolts incoming onto Mercy. How is he going to deal with it? Lontar is just powering him up with the healing waves in the back line, immuning their interrupts with that Spirit Walker's Grace. Good timing on Lontar. Now Mercy's trying to get into the fight here, stay on target and close this game out. But that drink gave Drainer the mana advantage now at this point. So as long as they can survive this Void Form, Valet fades in aggressively, goes for a Psychic Scream. Both players trinket out of the Psychic Scream. Mercy gets absolutely smacked around. They have to trade out everything. That was the Spirit Link Totem. That was the Die by the Sword. This is excellent for Creed. They've got their mana advantage. They just forced priority cooldowns. They've got pressure on Valet. As long as they can hold strong here and keep the strategy going, I think they've got it.
I feel like Reload Esports realized it's kind of do or die at 50% dampening. They need to move in. They cannot allow another combustion to come back up, or I just don't think it's healable for Lontar. At the same time, though, Mercy's just getting blasted, and no longer is the Earth Shield and the Riptide enough to keep Mercy alive. This is exactly what Creed want. I don't know if Lontar is going to be able to recover. Intimidating Shout comes in. Nicely done, slowing down Baka just a little bit. Drainer going for a Dispel, crossing the map, constantly dragging Reload Esports into the open. But let's see what Mercy can do. Things can spiral out of control very quickly. If they get uptime on Saza, they could get the Cauterize, the Ice Block, and potentially even more, win the game if they can. But it is difficult. Baka now going to be clotheslining Mercy with the Lightning Lasso. Mercy gets interrupted, trying to use his Door of Shadows to get back on target, but unfortunately not going to be able to find that. 53% dampening at this point, Zico.
Oh, big swap here onto Drainer. He's on Forbearance. He just uses Divine Shield. There's no Trinket. Mercy still reconnecting here. He's going on a solo mission, but Mercy left alone here. But this is actually a nice situation. Delay and Lontar are able to kind of catch up here from this pressure, building it up onto Saza. Saza with combustion now onto Mercy. He has nothing to answer with. Getting a nice dispel there, though. Delay throwing out the Shadow Man, stunning up Saza now, looking for the damage, looking for the Master Spell here, waiting for the Sheep. He fake casts the counter spell there. He gets Sheeped. He actually gets Dispel out of it, I do believe. Dragon's Breath now onto Belay. Mercy still very, very low on HP here. They're looking to turn the pressure up onto Baka. He had nothing for Baka, just the Drainer's Blessing of Protection here potentially. Stormkeeper gets interrupted. There's the sacrifice onto Baka, but it's a weak sacrifice, 30% damage reduction, and we are at 58% dampening. Lontar completely tapped. That next big hit of damage is surely going to end the game. Stormkeeper is loaded up for Baka. He's looking for his target here. Who's it going to be? Dragon's Breath, full Sheep, full Fear coming out. Mercy's the choice here. Belay with the Master Spell. The Shadow Man's coming out here onto Mercy. Baka super low by the pillar, channeling out the Fleshcraft with the Blessing of Protection. Drainer sitting down for a drink on the opposite end. Who's going to take this one, Sid?
They could do it.
I think Baka's about to go down, but he was still immune to the Storm Bolt from that Fleshcraft. And now Mercy is stunned behind the pillar. Lontar's in a Dragon's Breath. They're trying to get control. Avenging Wrath is up for Drainer. He needs to get as many heals out as possible during this time with that sliver of mana. Mercy could easily just fall over to the pressure, and I think that he's going to. Lightning Lasso for one more second. Creed, look for the KO. Trinkets out a Polymorph at 1%, but it's not enough to hold on. Valet is looking for the counter kill. Can Valet kill through Avenging Wrath? I think he might be able to. He will. He takes down Baka, going to a 2v2, but with an out of mana Holy Paladin and a 10% HP Fire Mage, I don't think Creed are in the best position.
Yeah, they definitely are. Valet wants to win this game. He looks hyper-focused in this situation. If he can get the Cauterize, get the Ice Block, I don't know if Drainer's ever going to be able to recover. Valet's got so much consistent damage, 65% dampening. Reload Esports is looking good to win this one. Mind Games land. Saza has no choice but to Ice Block, as it would have just completely nullified that Cauterize, that cheat death effect, and I feel like Creed right now, they are in a lot of trouble. I don't know how Drainer's going to be able to recover. Saza getting taken down by Lontar. This is an absolute nightmare, and I think Reload Esports are going to be able to come back in this 2 versus 3 situation. Saza in desperation goes for the Dragon's Wrath, looks for a Polymorph, but in Shadow Word Death range, gets
Wild
turned
seed.
into a seed. What Drainer with no tools left, how could he keep it alive? Is it possible? Can he? It looks like he might be able to recover, but no. Reload Esports, you can see how happy Valet is. They did it. They beat Creed in a really, really close game.
Yeah, what an excellent performance there, Valet, with a big smile on his face. Close one for sure, 70% dampening there. They get the cross kill, claps in the chat, and for Valet, what a nice comeback. Reload Esports, they didn't start off super hot, but they climbed back in, and they are going to be the 2nd seed here heading into the finals. So a really, really strong showing for them here as well. Taking down Creed in the head-to-head, taking down Method in the head-to-head, taking down a lot of big-name teams, and very well deserved here with their Shadow Priest Warrior comp.